my channel, so it is the day before I go under the knife and I am not happy about it. So let's talk about makeup. I have 3 new powder products to talk about today and I'm excited about all of them. So without further ado, let's get started with the Sonia Kashuk Chic Luminosity Glow Powder. This was $12.99 at Target. This was a total impulse purchase. Let's have a look at it. So packaging first. Comes in the matte black compact. Very nice, very elegant, simple but elegant. And you can see the product in the little window. And this is, by the way, you get 0.18 ounces. There is no description on here about what the product actually is, other than the name. So when you hear Chic Luminosity Glow Powder, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking highlighter, or at least illuminator. But I would be wrong, and so would you if that's what you were thinking. This is actually neither one of those, and that's not clear until you open it up and you play around with it and you discover, oops, it's actually a setting powder. But it's translucent, and what it has in it is it has these light diffusing particles in it. I've heard it compared to the NARS, the pressed version of the crystal setting powder from NARS, but of course it's much more affordable. So it has this it's almost a micro glitter in it. I'm wearing it over my whole face except under my eyes because I must bake with my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder or the world will end, but I have it on the rest of my face right now. And so obviously I don't have huge chunks of glitter on my face, but I think it's done a pretty good job of kind of diffusing and illuminating. Anyway, let's open this up and have a look at the actual powder. This is kind of cool. Do you see how it looks like snakeskin? See that embossing? It's pretty cool, right? And it's even, the surface is uneven. See that? So it just has a very interesting look to it. You cannot see on camera the little shimmer particles in here, and that's because they're super fine. So even looking at it here, you know, getting right up close to it, I can barely see them. I wouldn't even call it glitter or micro glitter. It's like finer than that. You can lift up the product like so, and you do get a mirror, it's just hiding. And there is also a brush compartment here. Now the brush that came with this is this little thing, which is going in the trash as soon as I talk about it to you guys. It's the only reason that I hung on to it was to make this video. It's like the brushes that come with a lot of Physicians Formula products, but it's a little bit of a better brush because it does have the depression for your thumb in the handle, so it makes it easier to control. But the thing is, with this powder, you shouldn't be applying it with that little skinny brush. You can use a puff, or you can do what I do and use my trusty Flower Loose powder brush. So I just went swirl, 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 tap, tap, stipple, 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 buff, buff, buffity buff. When you swatch this on your finger, you don't really see much. But that's good, because remember, this is supposed to be a translucent setting powder, and this truly is translucent. So it should work for all skin tones, and what it does is it's going to set your foundation. It's also going to mattify you throughout the day, but you're not going to look matte. You're going to look like you have this dewy, radiant finish, but you're just fooling the eye with the reflective particles that are in here. So it's pretty cool for that. The only thing I don't like about it is the packaging for one reason, and that is that it doesn't actually close securely. There is no latch. I believe there's a magnet. It feels like there might be, but it's not super strong. I can't quite tell. I think there's a magnet. But if you are going to be putting this in your purse or traveling with this, you have to just make sure that it's somewhere where it's not going to get pulled open, because it doesn't actually click close. So if that's a big deal for you, you know, buyer beware. Next, we have 2 of the hard candy bronzers in Tiki and Tropics. Now, the first thing that you notice about these is they look a little light to be bronzers, and they are, because they're actually not bronzers. I know that hard candy says they are. They're not. These are not bronzers. I'm sorry. These are illuminators. Let's start with Tiki. Tiki is a cult object. It has a rabid following. Some people say it is a dupe for MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle. I do not feel that it is, because it's got more of a gold beige to it, whereas Soft and Gentle, in my opinion, has more taupe and pink tones to it. Let's have a look-see at Tiki. It's baked, so you have the dome, okay, and it comes in this compact, and this closes securely thank the Lord. So if you're gonna put this in your bag, travel with it, it will stay closed on its own. And by the way, you get 0.46 ounces of product in here, and each of these was $9 at Walmart. Hard candies exclusive to Walmart and walmart.com. So taking a look at Tiki, we see that it's a beautiful beige golden champagne color. It's really pretty close to my skin tone. It's a little bit darker. What this does is it just gives you a super subtle illuminated effect. So it just kind of makes your skin look like it's glowing and healthy from within. It's very subtle. So this is not something that you're gonna put on when you're doing glamorous evening looks and you want that high beam effect. That is not what you use this for. This is phenomenal for just every day when you want to look awake and alive without slathering on a ton of cream highlighter or just packing on blush or packing on all these different products. This does a really awesome job of just making you look better, if that makes sense. It's very, very blendable. It's finely milled. It's one of the most finely milled baked powders from the drugstore that I've ever purchased. So it's very easy for me to see why this has a cult following. If you are very fair, you could maybe get away with using this as a bronzer if you mixed it with something else. So what I do is I actually put this on first, and it goes over all of the focal points of my face, my temples, middle of my forehead, nose, chin, all of those spots. And then I will put another bronzer on, the temples. I'll kind of go over it so that it kind of shears it out and you get a mixture of those two colors. Highly recommended if you want an illuminator that you can use in conjunction with a bronzer, but it's not going to be adequate as a bronzer in and of itself. They should have called it an illuminator. Next shade is Tropics. Tropics is the next darkest shade, and it has more of a rose beige tint to it. So it is slightly darker than Tiki. Actually, let's get Tiki back out. You can see, right? This is Tiki over here and this is Tropics. So you can see this is slightly darker and it's slightly more pink. I'm wearing this right now as my bronzer. So I did this first and then I put this on over the top, temples, hairline, this C shape here. So it just warms the skin up. It gives it an extra kick of luminosity now because we're layering both of these, but it doesn't look like wow bronzer. So for daytime, awesome, awesome, awesome choice. Hard Candy makes 2 more shades of these. The third darkest shade is called Hula Hula, and it is very strongly, it is a bronze, brown, orange type of shade, which is way too dark and way too orange for me. So I did not pick it up because I don't buy products if I don't think I will use them. And then there's also a version that has, it's kind of like the pan is divided into 3. Well, it's not actually divided, but you get 3 distinct wedges of color baked into the same product. One is like a highlighter, one is a pinky blushy color, and one is a brown, more of a bronzer. So the idea with that one is you can either go in with a smaller brush and you can use them separately, or you can swirl your brush around and then use them all for an all over glow. That one I did not purchase because it seemed to have chunkier, shimmery glitter situation going on, and I really do not like wearing a lot of glitter on my face. If you have large pores, a lot of glittery products can really call attention to them and they can make your skin texture look rougher. So that's why I tend to avoid that, and that's the reason why my NARS Orgasm blush is kind of not getting used very much at all. It's because I realized, oh hey, it's beautiful, but I think all this glitter is kind of drawing attention to the wrong things. Same thing with that darkest shade from Hard Candy, but these two, I am a huge fan for the color, for the luminosity, and for the texture and the blendability. This is an A+ product in my opinion. So if you are looking for a more affordable alternative to a MAC mineralized skin finish, those are $32 each, remember, and these were $9 each. So you could buy all 4 and only spend $4 more. So you do the math. I love these. And yes, so I wanted to get on here and tell you about it. Okay, I cannot put this off any longer. I need to get to bed because tomorrow I meet my fate. So anyway, guys, I'm going to throw this up before I leave for the doctors tomorrow. I do not know if I will be around for a couple days or not. It's going to entirely depend on how I feel and how swollen and weird I look. If I'm like chipmunk mouth, you're not going to see me for a few days. But anyway, thank you so much for subscribing and for leaving some really sweet comments I've gotten over the past few days. Thank you so much for those. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I will see you guys in my next clip, which is hopefully soon. Keep your fingers crossed. Bye, guys.